So My Hero Academia chapter 277 brings us a lot of things. It brings us a possible conflict here with Mount Lady and Gigantomachia. Now, I love Mount Lady as much as the next guy, but to fight equally against Gigantomachia? No, guys, I don't think it's possible. But what do you guys think? Let me know in your thoughts in the comments below. So, this chapter of My Hero Academia, we get a lot of cool stuff. We get Bakugo and Deku, Bakugo, Deku, and Endeavor, I'd say, facing off against Shigaraki. And you know what? This is like, I don't know how many chapters in we are against, the heroes versus Shigaraki now that he's, awakened. I guess we're in like chapter 3, 4, maybe even 5 chapters in of this whole, like him just coming out of the tube and him being awake. And in my head, like, every time I'm reading this chapter, I'm just thinking, Aizawa Sensei, this guy, you cannot beat him in a staring contest. Like, don't get me wrong, this guy is crazy. But I'm just thinking, when's he gonna blink? Or, like, something's gonna happen. In my opinion, I give it, like, 2 chapters, I'm not gonna lie. Either he... Okay, I don't see a scenario where he like blinks and he's like, "Oh guys, sorry, I couldn't hold it any longer." But no, I think we're gonna get something like maybe Shigaraki like throws dust, or like, I don't know, he does something to kind of get Aizawa off what's the word? Get him off like, base or whatever. But other than that, this chapter I really did enjoy, because one of the things that I enjoyed from this chapter was just seeing like, I guess, just non-stop action. Now that we've got like the students coming in, I guess it kind of raised the stakes a bit more, because before we had Endeavor, we had a bit of like Gran Torino coming in, but it's basically pretty much just Endeavor. The other pros, they were getting caught up fighting the higher Nomis. I would have loved to see some coverage, and I hope we do, but I'm not sure if Horikoshi Sensei is going to draw away the focus from like Endeavor, Shigaraki, and any of the other heroes everywhere else, and focus on some heroes like that just fighting some hinds. That would be pretty cool, but I do think we've already got that kind of focus with high ends from obviously Mirako. Hope she's okay. But so what I was saying earlier on was just as I was sensing how he's just had long contact. Now, part of me was thinking, no, this guy's eyes has been open for ages. Like, this can't be, like, it can't be true. It can't be realistic whatsoever. But I think that's because, we're reading it from like a weekly basis, so we're thinking this fight is dragging, like this is a long fight. Now, in real life, because, these chapters, they're like really focusing on, not only on the conflict, but they're focusing a lot on like the dialogue between the characters, like after every hit with Shigaraki. So it makes it seem like this fight's been drawn out a lot, but this fight could be just been going on for like 5 minutes, or and I know, to be fair, 5 minutes is still pretty impressive. Like if I'm staring in, like even a minute in, maybe even a minute, maybe too long. But like, yeah, I don't think this has been going on for like 20 minutes or something like that. Because remember, during the overhaul fight, that was something crazy, like only like 20-30 minutes, I think. I may be wrong, but I think it was something like that, because I remember they did like, it started like 8 a.m. and like Overhaul was basically arrested like 8:30 or like 9 or something. But obviously that whole arc and that whole battle, it went on for ages, so we thought this is crazy, like this is going on for time. But in like real life, it's not going to drag on that long. But yeah, so that's a massive tangent. One of the things that I wanted to speak about was basically Shigaraki. We're seeing, Shigaraki coming into his own character in himself, and he's obviously the foil towards Deku. Deku's the hero that's always progressing, and obviously Shigaraki is the complete opposite. Yeah, not complete opposite. Like Shigaraki is progressing as well, like the complete reflection. What's his name? All for One. He hasn't been there, so we've been seeing Shigaraki like growing by himself and seeing the kind of character that he is. And in this chapter, it kind of seemed like a quite a final kind of stance that Shigaraki took in regards to him and his master, because there was a lot of theories. We were wondering, like, okay, what's the connection between his master and Shigaraki right now? Is there like a telepathic link because they share like the same quirk, or something like that? You know how Deku can talk to his predecessors. Is it something like that with Shigaraki and All For One? Is there like some kind of link? All we know is there's that sort of mental, spiritual kind of DNA kind of link between Deku and his predecessors, and we know that Shigaraki and Deku are kind of linked as well. So that's really interesting to see too. But from this chapter, we see like All For One, Shigaraki's master, being like, that quirk is mine. Like his own desires reach through, and that makes us think, is that like the dregs of the quirk, or is that something like, is that what All For One is saying now? For example, we know that there's a lot of theory in the fan world right now with All For One possibly like doing all of this with Shigaraki, like giving the quirk so that he can take control of that body, because All For One's body right now is not the greatest, and there's the sense of like, in series that there's the villain always wants to live on and just like do whatever he can to basically survive. So there's like I think it's picked up quite some speed, and quite some support with a lot of people subscribing to the idea of the sense that maybe All For One's gonna betray Shigaraki and that. However, there is a polar opposite viewpoint coming up, rising up, especially in the recent couple of chapters, with Shigaraki possibly killing All For One. And I can see why people would probably agree with it now, especially in this chapter, because there was even one in the scene, Shigaraki basically does this and obviously like decays the image of like All For One, and he's basically like, I'm going to be greater than you. So yeah, this chapter was really significant, especially in regards to Shigaraki and All For One, because it was more like he's basically being like, okay, I'm now becoming my own person. And it reminds me of ages ago when All Might was basically to Deku, like, you're still copying me. And there was this whole sense of, Deku being under All Might, like just basically being, overwhelmed by the shadow of All Might. And like, how can Deku become like a different kind of hero? But obviously he's not like battling that anymore. So it's kind of something similar as well. Now, is this like foreshadowing of possible betrayal? I'm not really sure. I think what Horikoshi is doing is really hammering home the sense that Shigaraki's kind of like going down this path that he can't return. I think I think Horikoshi's basically honed in the point that personally, but I don't think Shigaraki's going to be redeemed. I know there's the whole sense of him being like Shimura Nana's grandson, and the whole fact that, All Might kind of wanted to save him at one point, but Gran Torino was like, no, you can't do that. He's still a villain nonetheless. I think with all of that, I personally don't think Shigaraki's going to be redeemed. I don't think Horikoshi's going to do that. And if it is like a redemption kind of thing, I think it's going to be like, yeah, no, I don't see that happening. I think the whole point of Shigaraki and his character is the sense that like he's been created to just be utterly evil, like regardless of where he's come from. This is who he is, and that's why it was so important. Like 3, 4, 5 chapters ago, when like his grandmother, his mom, like all his family, even Shimura Nana was like trying to hold him back, and Shigaraki was just like, "Don't reject me," basically. So yeah, I don't subscribe to that idea. What else did I want to say? I wanted to talk about, Bakugo was pretty impressive this chapter. Because obviously Bakugo gets kidnapped way back, and that's what started the whole All Might versus All For One kind of thing in Kamino. Like they came to take Bakugo, the whole summer camp thing, all of that kind of stuff, because they could see that they thought Bakugo could easily be turned to their side. Obviously that wasn't the case. And obviously Bakugo's been wanting to take revenge and payback for that ever since. But Shigaraki is like, I'm not interested in you anymore. Obviously because Shigaraki has this new power, and now his desire is just basically get Deku. Bakugo's kind of being pushed to the sideline. And I think this is a reoccurring like theme that we're seeing recently in My Hero Academia, just in the sense that Bakugo's realizing that Deku's becoming all the more important to everyone, and all the more significant and all the more stronger. Obviously, Bakugo's seen Deku since childhood. Like they've known each other since they were kids. And I guess that was such a big frustration back then. It was, because like Deku was basically a nobody, but now All Might's looking at him. He's getting so much recognition. He's progressing so much. And again, like even Shigaraki's just like, I'm not interested in you. But guys, that attack, that was crazy. Yeah, that was ridiculous. When Bakugou was just like, you're bait. Or like, I think Gran Torino was bait, or either Deku or something like that. And then he just does some crazy enormous explosion. We did see it did affect Shigaraki a bit because like Shigaraki basically got taken aback by that. To be honest, I'd say more than taken aback. He got injured by that, in my opinion. And then Endeavor comes in with like a burnishing fist. And then Endeavor's been really cool these past couple of chapters as well. With just I have to give props to him because he hasn't been holding his ground. He has been getting demolished by Shigaraki, but he's getting back up. I mean, I have to give it to him. Like the guy's got stamina and endurance. It's ridiculous. Not to mention his quirk, which basically like burns him down as well. So yeah, Endeavor's been pretty good. Very impressive. And he comes in with this attack, which is like burnishing fist, and I feel like obviously he's coming in with speed, and as he punches Shigaraki, like he blasts him as well. So yeah, I just have to hand it to him because like he gets knocked down, but he comes back straight away. Which has been really, really cool to see. So yeah, other than that, this chapter was a really, really cool chapter. And obviously we see Mount Lady and Gigantomachia at the end. At first I thought, rah, these guys are like wrestling. And at first I thought it was like, do you know when they're both like grappling each other's hands? But that's not so much the case. It's more like Gigantomachia is like running, trying to get past. But like just like Mount Lady's like trying to push him back. Now is it going successfully? Man, we'll have to see because I think, like, okay, the whole like point of Mount Lady's quirk is size. I think it's called gigantification. I feel like that's something like that. So it's not so much like she has super strength, but it's more so like she grows in size and obviously strength as a byproduct. Whereas I feel like with Gigantomachia, that guy is just strength. Obviously, Gigantomachia himself, he can increase in size as well. But I feel like he's got more of a focus in strength. So I don't think it is going to be an equal fight. I mean, who knows? Maybe Tokiyami comes in with Dark Shadow as well. That'd be pretty cool. But no, man, I'm excited to see it because I really like how Horikoshi kind of focusing on the other heroes. Like, it's not just Endeavor, it's not just Gran Torino or like Class 1A. Like, it was really, really, like, it was cool to just give basically like 4 or 5 chapters to Mirko. And Mirko is a character who, before like this arc, we didn't really get to see much focus. There wasn't a lot of development on her. So, Horikoshi is really being kind of bold with these characters. I mean, Mount Lady's been here since, I think, first chapter, her and Kamui Woods. That would be pretty cool. Like, Mount Lady and Kamui Woods versus Gigantomachia. Because I feel like that would be really nostalgic. And those are basically like the first heroes that we see coming into this series. That would be really, really cool to see as well. But yeah, guys, that's probably enough from me. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you thought about this chapter. If you liked anything I'd say, that drop a like, that would be greatly appreciated. Let's continue the discussion in the comments below. It'll be really, really cool. I appreciate that as well. But yeah, guys, that's enough from me. I'll see you next week for chapter 278. Peace out, guys. Goodbye.